It's almost here. Black Friday is upon us. Soon, the parking lots at all the shopping malls will be flooding with cars, and the doorsteps of houses across the country will be littered with Amazon packages. And if that's not stressful enough, you still don't know what to get some of your family members and friends. What do you get your cousin who now has 2 kids and barely has enough room for the diaper bags in the back of their car? Or on the flip side, what do you get your sister who has a new fiance and is living in a city and they're doing very well for themselves? If you're seeing me for the first time, hopefully that means that someone shared this video. My name is Diana. Maybe like you, I'm tired of 1, making myself depressed reading articles about the environment, and 2, I'm tired about stressing about getting people gifts. Gift giving is really important to me. It's a great way to show a person my more thoughtful side. But even if it's not important for you, you should still care about giving gifts. Let's get real for a minute. How many times have you been given a gift, or maybe you've even given someone else a gift, that you know is just going to never be used? Sure, maybe in 5 years, those pair of socks will resurface in your drawer and you'll suddenly be old enough to appreciate such a gift. But more likely, those gifts that you receive or give others will find themselves drifting to the corner of their homes, in the garage, the attic, the basement, that drawer on the top of your dressers that is just filled with knickknacks that you don't know what to do with. Then when it comes time to move, or say your kids move out and you finally get to turn their bedroom into that crafting space that you've always wanted, what do you do with those gifts? Sure, maybe you give some of them away, but who knows what happens to them from there? Most likely, a lot of the stuff that you get rid of is just going to go to a landfill somewhere. Look, I'm not going to start going into stats about landfills or some of the new politics that are surfacing about sending our waste overseas, but I will paint this picture for you. I used to live in Hartford, Connecticut, and while I was living there, I found plenty of gems that I really was drawn to. But if you're driving north of the city on 91, guess what you see? A big, fooping landfill. It's literally 2 minutes from the heart of the city. Who wants to see that? So let's stop the madness. Let's stop contributing to this problem. Let's not give in to the pressure to buy so many gifts that you literally can't see the bottom branches of your Christmas tree. That's why I'm making this video on non-tangible gifts, to help guide you and lead us to a more sustainable future. Okay, let's get started. Last episode, I covered donations, which is a totally awesome gift for especially a person who's a little bit more well-established and can buy themselves anything that they want already. Today, I'll be covering everything that has to do with experiences. These gifts might include things like event tickets, classes and lessons, memberships, season tickets and passes, or local experiences. Now, I want you to envision some of the people that you still have to buy gifts for. What do they like? And what stage in life are they at? Hopefully one of these categories that I'm going to cover resonates with that description that you've just made for yourself. So let's go back to that hypothetical sister. She and her husband are doing really well in the city, and they kind of fancy themselves a cultural aficionado. They probably love to go out and experience all that their city has to offer, or maybe they work too hard and you really want them to have those experiences. What do you get for them? Maybe you have an idea for their taste in music or in entertainment, and if so, then your hypothetical sister and her fiance would love tickets to go see an event of her favorite band or musician. Or maybe there's a local theater or opera house that you think that they would really like to check out. Gifting access to these types of entertainment venues is such a great gift because you've basically planned a date night for them. What an awesome treat. Cool, so where do you get these awesome gifts? You can definitely look at websites like Eventbrite, which is honestly good for any type of events coming to the area, but I would definitely recommend looking directly at these entertainment venues websites. Consider buying a single event ticket, or if it's in your budget and makes sense, buy them season tickets. This can be especially cool for small theaters in the area. Like I said, I used to live in Hartford, and I loved going to shows at a small theater called TheaterWorks. It was this tiny little theater in the basement of this old, beautiful historic building. Their season tickets were reasonably priced, and they always had a good lineup of shows. But okay, maybe you're a little bit nervous about getting them tickets to something that you're not really sure if they would like. And that's super cool. There's one more gift idea that I can give you for your hypothetical sister. Museum membership at a local art museum. Art museums are so much more than just galleries. For example, the New Britain Museum of American Art just outside of Hartford throws these rager parties about 6 times a year. Mardi Gras amongst Impressionist paintings? Heck yes. Museums like this often host lectures, workshops, and other rotating exhibits. So even if you're not really sure what your sister's taste is, she's bound to find something that she likes. So I'm not gonna lie, sports don't really hold a big part in my life. But I have friends who would live and die for their team. Buying non-tangible gifts for a sports fan can be tough. It's so tempting to just buy some merch and call it a day. But what if you could give them a little piece of the sports experience? Season tickets for a sports game are expensive. We're talking like $300 to $800. If you can score them, awesome. But I don't think that that's a reasonable ticket price for most people. But there are preseason tickets. Surprisingly, despite my lack of fandom, I've actually been to both a preseason football game and a season game. I have to say, they were both really fun. You might be thinking, well, Diana, that's because you don't know anything about sports. And yeah, you're right. But I do know my friends who are sports fans. And I can tell you that they had such a good time watching their team groom themselves in the preseason games, trying out new strategies, or maybe even experimenting with new players. For a true sports fan, seeing that development is maybe as important as the actual season games. So I looked up preseason tickets for the Patriots, which is a notoriously expensive team. And they seem to average around $100, but I know that you can get them much cheaper than that. But if that's still not in your price range, don't worry. A lot of stadiums will do tours when they don't have games going on. These tickets are far more reasonable, and you can give the gift of feeling more connected to the stadium that your friends or family watch on TV all of the time. Even I have done a tour of Fenway Stadium, and I hate baseball, but I was still really intrigued by the history and learning more about the Green Monster. Okay, so now for a topic that I can relate to a little bit more easily. I'm sure that we all have somebody in our lives that loves to move and eat healthy. My mom is Miss Yoga. She goes to multiple yoga studios and several yoga retreats throughout the year. I think buying a gift for someone like this is actually pretty easy. You can gift them, say, one class at their favorite gym or yoga studio. Or a lot of places will sell something called a punch card where you can buy multiple classes that they can use over the month. This option is nice because it's a little bit more than paying for one class, but it's not like paying for a full membership. Of course, if you can pay for your loved one's gym membership, even if it's just for one promotional trial month, I'm sure that they would be very appreciative for that. I have a few more ideas for this type of loved one. If you think about the person that you're trying to buy this gift for, are they pretty set in what they like Pilates for life, or are they a little bit more on the adventurous side? If they are the latter, I would recommend looking for activities that they wouldn't necessarily think of checking out themselves. Like, a lot of cities will host various dance lessons in Latin dance, ballroom dancing, swing, hip hop. Or what if you could give them something completely new, like a class in the circus arts or goat yoga? Yeah, I don't get it either, but maybe they'd like it. Where do you find these types of activities and classes? I, again, recommend looking at websites like Eventbrite, but definitely check out other sites like Groupon or MindBody as well. The young family. We're back to the hypothetical cousin who rolls up in her Prius and barely has enough room to fit diaper bags in the fold-up rolling stroller that she has to tote around. And do you have to buy gifts for the whole family? That's like 4 people. All sarcasm aside, buying gifts for young ones is, I'm guessing, one of the major sources of wasteful gift giving. Everyone wants to give kids cute little stuffed animals and toys, stuff like that. Look, you know the family the best. If they need that type of stuff, go for it, give it to them. But if you want to buy a gift that the whole family can enjoy, keep listening. Imagine this, or maybe you've already been there. It's summer. The kids aren't in school, or maybe they're not even old enough to be in school yet. And it's raining. This is literally the worst. You as the parent can't just let them run around in the yard or take them to the park or the beach. That's when you, as the parent, remembers, oh yeah, my cousin bought me this membership to the aquarium in town. All right, structured activity. Giving your friends or family membership to local museums is an awesome gift. It gives them an outlet throughout the year, and it establishes memories that will last so much longer than a cute stuffed plush will. So look at local science museums, zoos, aquariums, historic villages, even, heck, theme parks, and give the gift of membership. And don't forget to ask your cousin for an adorable picture of them and their little ones in front of the gorilla exhibit. Okay, so the explorer can look a little bit different depending on the friend or family member. They might be the type of person who's always drawn to exploring the self and will always be drawn to self-improvement type of activities. Or they might be the type of person who just likes to go out and explore the world. That could be as simple as going to a food truck festival or taking a buggy out onto the sand dunes in Utah. Totally not a thing that I want to do. For these types of people, you want to find fun regional tours, guided activities, or classes. For fun experiences, you can totally just Google activities, events, attractions, and then the name of whatever city. Usually every city or town either has a tourism website dedicated for just that, or at least a portion of their website with, say, an events calendar included. But I do want to mention one resource for the sort of off the beaten path activities that some people might not know about. Most people have heard of Airbnb for cheaper, homier hotel accommodations, but Airbnb has actually dedicated a portion to their business for just experiences. These experiences can include anything from walking history tours, bicycle tours, food tours, etc., but they can also include kind of quirkier activities, things like goat yoga, seriously, why, how to shuck oysters, a tea ceremony with a tea master, and so on and so on. As for classes, these might include things like dance lessons, like I mentioned earlier, or they can be something like a second language, art lessons, and singing, painting, pottery, or maybe cooking lessons. I've been to cooking demonstrations where I've literally just sat there and watched a pretty well-known chef make food and eat whatever he makes. I've also taken cooking classes at chains like Sur La Table and been really pleasantly surprised by the quality and my souffle. In addition to looking at cooking supply stores, I again recommend looking at websites like Groupon for classes, but I also recommend checking out local community centers or cultural centers. Or you can check out a local makerspace, which leads me into my last category. A hobbyist can mean lots of different things, right? Is your loved one a writer, an RC plane pilot, or maybe they're a sailor? A lot of these hobbies lend themselves to communities of like-minded folk, and often these communities have fees associated with them. Is there a writing guild that your loved one is a part of? What about an RC plane club? A boathouse? You can look into these different communities and see if paying for their membership fees makes sense as a gift. And now for a little plug. I love makerspaces. I am a member to one of the largest makerspaces probably in the world, and I really wish that everyone had access to that type of community and equipment. So if you know someone who loves to tinker or just loves to make things, then I would really encourage you to look at any local makerspaces in their area. If you're like, Diana, what is a makerspace and where do I find one? I recommend heading over to the Make Community website to learn more and check out this interactive map of established makerspaces all over the globe. All right, guys, that's what I've got for today. Next episode, I'm going to close out talking about non-tangible gifts and then move on to other green products that you can actually feel good about giving. But I have to ask you guys, did you get any ideas from this video? Do you feel like you can take action and give meaningful gifts that will spark long-lasting memories while still taking the environment into account? If not, what worries or questions do you still have? I really want to know what runs through your mind when you think of sustainable gift giving. Please leave a comment for any cool ideas that you have and maybe you want to see featured in the next coming videos. Or if you have any questions, I'd love to see that as well. And if you find yourself pressing that like button, I really encourage you to think about sharing this video on your social media feed. Like I said, I'm tired of stressing out about the environment and gift giving, and my mission is to spread the word and to give yourself actionable steps towards being environmentally conscious yourself. Spread the word, spread the hope, and until next time, cheers!